Game day's here, I can hear the crowd. Turn on the lights, fans are cranked up and loud. Red or blue, we wear it proud. Yeah, we love our teams in this border town. Chiefs and Royals, Boo Mizzou, Rock Chalk, Jayhawk, KU. Hear that drum pounding in your feet. Yeah, you're marching to the beat of KC.
What is going on, YouTube? What is going on, Kansas City? What is going on, Jayhawk Nation? And what is going on, everybody? And welcome to the Beat of KC. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lucas Murphy, and I'm going to take you back in time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to build you a case and really develop you some historical value as we head into this 2025-2026 men's basketball season. I'm excited. I'm super stoked. And really what we're going to do is we're going to take an opportunity to go down history and really develop a case for why this team is comparable to another team. So let's go back in time. In 1891, Dr. James Naismith decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to create basketball. 1898 to 1899, he founded the Kansas men's basketball program. It came to life, ladies and gentlemen. Naismith's player, Forrest Fogg Allen, became Kansas's second head coach and is often called the father of basketball coaching. Allen led KU for 39 seasons and finished with 590 wins. He helped popularize the sport nationwide and mentored some of basketball's greatest coaches, including Adolph Rupp, who obviously has a huge historical value to Kentucky, and Dean Smith, who obviously has a huge historical value to North Carolina, both of which are KU alumni. Now, KU's iconic Allen Fieldhouse opened in 1955 and is honoring, obviously, him. You know, Fogg Allen, Forrest Fogg Allen. Now, after him would come guys like Dick Harp, Ted Owens, Larry Brown, and Roy Williams. They carried on the program's legacy, each adding to KU's national prominence. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is a coach that we did not mention yet, and we're about to. He has carried on the tradition. He has been there for years. He is obviously making statements. He's gone through a series of different changes in recruiting styles. He's had multiple players come in that have had huge impacts, have gone on to the NBA. Of course, that guy we're talking about is Bill Self, ladies and gentlemen. He was hired in 2003. Since he has solidified KU as a modern powerhouse. Now, did last year, maybe the year before, they take a few steps back? Yeah. Obviously, with the transitioning of how recruiting happens, there's NIL. Obviously, when Dick Harp, Ted Owens, Larry Brown, and Roy Williams were in college basketball, there was no such thing as NIL. You didn't pay players. You recruited them based on them wanting to come and play for the school, to build and develop and become a talented basketball player in hopes and dreams of going and playing in the NBA. And that really is what it was based on. Bill Selfs endured that, but had to transition due to the NIL. Now, I really think that there is a team that we're going to focus in on, and it was under Bill Self's, obviously, regime, and that was the 2021-2022 season for the Kansas Jayhawks. If you remember, actually, you know what? I'm going to run a reel for you while I'm talking. So check this out. This is the 2021-2022 season. This is a national championship year, ladies and gentlemen. The Jayhawks finished the 2021-2022 season with a 34-6 record and a 14-4 mark in the Big 12 play. They won both the Big 12 tournament and the NCAA tournament, claiming the national championship. And ladies and gentlemen, that was a glorious time. Over my shoulder, if you ever see, there is a bottle of whiskey that I only opened on the night of the national championship. The roster had continuity, experienced players, several returning starters, and coach's Bill Self was in his 19th year. Their championship game featured a historic comeback, down 40-25 at half, and they rallied to win. Now, what made this team stand out? What made them different? What really made them a national champion? And that's a great question. It was their style and their identity, ladies and gentlemen, with depth and veterans presence. The team played with maturity. They played with stability. You had guys like Ochai Agbaji, last I checked, NBA. Christian Brown, last I checked, NBA. David McCormick, an absolute monster. Jalen Wilson, last I checked, NBA. Remy Martin, DeJuan Harris, Mitch Lightfoot, Jalen Coleman-Lands, Joseph Yesufu, and many others. I mean, you had a very young KJ Adams on this team. It was incredible. This roster was stacked. They were able to perform under pressure in the postseason, navigating both conference and NCAA tournaments successfully. There was no limitations, ladies and gentlemen, because they had so much success. There are fewer obvious weaknesses in that season, though sometimes dominant teams face a challenge of maintaining focus once they reach the top. With experienced players, there was less of a rebuilding element. It was about maintaining an elite level. Ladies and gentlemen, majority of these guys stayed with the program almost the whole time. I mean, you had DeJuan Harris on this roster who was a 6-year senior. You had guys like Jalen Wilson who stuck around. You had guys like Christian Brown who stuck around. You had guys like Ochai Agbaji who stuck around. These guys came in, bought into what the program was about, and they committed to winning a national championship. They committed to really taking over the Big 12. Now, that is another thing I kind of want to talk about. This is a new age for the Big 12. Some of the guys that some of those teams that this 2021-22 season had to play, they just were not in this conference. But college basketball, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes time to that March Madness, all that set aside, this team literally saw the prize and they went after it. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, they were down 40-25 at halftime in the national championship, and they came back and clutched up. That is the big thing. Now, the reason I'm telling you this and the reason why I'm bringing this team up is because in comparison, how does this 2025-2026 season really compare to this team? Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm giving you the ultimate, literally the ultimate tier. This is what you have to live up to. This team right here is the ultimate team the Kansas Jayhawks are in comparison to in the last few years. Now, could we go back to, the year that Bill Self won his first one? Yeah, we could definitely compare it to them, but I would say this is more relative to where we're at. And I think, too, you just really got to look at this team and think, in comparison, how does the 2025 season match up to this team? So we're going to talk about that. Now, obviously, we have not played any games yet in the 2025-2026 season. That's really why I wanted to do this now. So the 2025-2026 team enters with a fresh new look, new assistant coaches, new roster pieces, and really somewhat of a different identity. I've hit on this multiple times. Ladies and gentlemen, the last 2 years, the game plan has been work it high to low down to Hunter Dickinson, and that's how this offense worked. Yes, we would attempt to shoot threes. We would kind of, at times, get contributions from KJ Adams. But ladies and gentlemen, this team really did not have an identity outside of feed it to Hunter Dickinson, and that's how it worked. Because of NIL, you paid a guy and you wanted to please him. That's changed. So they are having a different identity. Now, according to projections, the team is expected to lean more on defense and transition play. I 100% agree. This team is going to be expected to get out and work fast, transition the ball, pass the ball, work all around the court, drive, get fouled, get to the free throw line, shoot threes. They really are going to be able to do that. But the same thing at the same time, you could say that for the 2021-2022 season. They had guys like David McCormick working down low. You had some bigs and guards that were really contributing, to really the scoring factor. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, you had Ochai Agbaji averaging 18.8 points per game. You had Christian Brown averaging 14.1 points. David McCormick, your big, had 10.6 points, averaging 7 rebounds. Jalen Wilson, a bigger forward, 6'8", averaging 11.1 points, 7.4 rebounds. I mean, DeJuan Harris, ladies and gentlemen, was a sophomore at the time, 6'1", 5.4 points, 1.4 rebounds, 4.2 assists. He led the charge at times from the point guard position. But you also had a guy come in Remy Martin, who averaged 8.6 points, clutched up in March. He said, "Wait till we get to March, coach." And we did. That's the thing, is this team was very dynamic. And that's what I'm kind of seeing in this 2025-2026 season. I'm not saying that they're going to be this team, ladies and gentlemen, but do they have the possibility? Yeah. Because they have a guy like Darryn Peterson, who is a number 1 overall ranking, basketball player. He's coming in. We saw what he did against Louisville. Granted, that was an exhibition game, but that is still a ranked opponent. And the guy had 24 points in the first half. You got guys coming in like Trey White, Melvin Council Jr. Now, is Melvin Council Jr. and Trey White going to live up to a Christian Brown and Ochai Agbaji, a Jalen Wilson type of play? I can't speak for that right now because I don't feel like we've had enough time to see this team work cohesively. But are they going to be able to contribute maybe some of the similar points, maybe some of the similar rebounds, maybe some of the similar assists? Yeah, that could potentially happen. And I think, too, with the way and the dynamic of college basketball these days, I do think that this gives an opportunity for a team like Kansas. If they can make it to the dance, they can make a run, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to jump in. We're going to talk about opportunities. So with fresh pieces and an evolving style, the Jayhawks have the chance to reinvent or at least refresh their program, which can inject energy and unpredictability. And I think that's a big thing. You saw a lot of people, talking heads, who really cover this landscape of college basketball. To be honest, I felt like they just had no idea what to really put their thumb down on this Kansas Jayhawks team. They don't know what's going to happen. Bill Self, before the first exhibition game against Louisville, was asked, how do you feel like this team's going to play? What are your expectations? His honest answer, and I'm not quoting him, but basically he's like, I don't know what to expect, ladies and gentlemen. In a market that never sleeps, one name rises above the rest. Lisa Miller from Darryn Lynch Real Estate. Trusted by hundreds and recognized across the Midwest. She delivers results when it matters the most. With over 13 years of experience and licenses in both Kansas and Missouri, Lisa isn't just selling houses. She's helping you find a place to call home. Whether you are a first-time homebuyer, looking to upsize, or selling your current home, Lisa makes the process smooth and stress-free. As a local expert passionate about building lasting relationships, she ensures her clients feel confident and satisfied every step of the way. Don't wait, your perfect home is just a call away. Contact Lisa today at Nix or 913-369-3000 or visit lisamillersaleskc.com. Let Lisa Miller at Lynch Real Estate help you start your next exciting chapter. And let her know the beat of KC, Lucas Murphy, sent you her way. That's because he literally is putting this team together in a way that he feels is going to function and have super good success. And he's just got to see it come to fruition. Now, obviously, there's a focus on athleticism, and switching defense suggests they may be better prepared for modern college basketball demands. So pace, which we talked about, space, positional versatility. You got bigs that are playing, like guards. I mean, you got tons of opportunity. I mean, Trey White does not play like a big man. I mean, granted, he's 6'7", but he's not playing like a power forward. He shoots the three ball. He's got a lot of athleticism. You got guys like Bryson Tiller, who is 6'10", ladies and gentlemen, and literally plays like a small forward. He's transitional. He has the ability to be super flexible, bendy. He transitions off of ball screens. He has the ability to shoot the three ball. That's a 6'10" talent. And so I'm excited to kind of see those, comparisons when it comes to a few of these guys. And again, the thing is they are lacking a little bit of proven postseason pedigree of that 2021-2022 squad. That's the thing is that team won Big 12 championships. They won Big 12 tournaments. They won a national title. And many of those contributors, yes, they've moved on, obviously, because they're now playing in the NBA. DeJuan Harris finally moved on. KJ Adams is still a part of the staff. But that means this version will need to build chemistry. This team of 2025, 2026 will need to really lean on each other when the times get tough. When they start to face adversity, they're really going to have to lean into each other. They're really going to have to understand each other through practice. They're really going to have to understand each other through these first few games because they're going to be challenged. Now, the offensive identity is less clear-cut. I obviously believe that it's going to be Darryn Peterson and everyone else is going to get fed around off of that. I do think we saw a little bit of what can happen when Darryn Peterson's not a part of the game. They were lacking their leader. There wasn't anybody that could step up. Later on in the game, Melvin Council eventually stepped up, but they were lacking their leader. I think that's literally the battery to this entire offense is Darryn Peterson. And so it only makes sense when you take the battery out, everything just goes away. It loses power. So I really think that there is, I would say, a much larger margin for error, but at the same time, we just don't know. So really kind of the comparison. And I want to finish this video with this. The 2021-2022 Jayhawks boasted veteran presence, continuity in the roster, and a coaching staff and had built up trust within their system. They've gone through that program years. That enabled them to perform at the highest level, ladies and gentlemen, culminating a championship. By contrast, the 2025-2026 version is in a rebuilding, kind of a transitional phase. They have new faces, somewhat of a different approach, which I do agree, and less of a proven track record together. They don't have a track record, to be honest with you. Literally, this entire team is practically brand new. So I would obviously give the advantage to the 2021-2022 season because they were in ready now mode. They were prepared for that run. They had endured and experienced, postseason. They've endured and experienced heartbreak. They've endured and experienced adversity. They'd gone through that. Style of play and adaptability. In 2021-2022, the style was refined and effective for that era. They knew how to win. They knew how to come back when they were down. They took adversity and laughed at it in the face. We have yet to experience that with 2025-2026. The Jayhawks are adjusting. They're placing more emphasis on defense and transition, athleticism, positional flexibility. That could position them well for the future of what college basketball really is presenting. And I don't mean like 2-3 years down the road. I mean right now in how college basketball is adapting this season. So in terms of that, I still give the advantage to 2021-2022. Now, achievements and settled expectations. And it's hard to really say anything against the 2025-2026 season because we've yet to see them play. But the 2021-2022 season, you got to think that team was satisfied with high expectations. They knew what the expectations were. National title. Now, you do have a Darryn Peterson at Big 12 Media Days. They asked him, what does success look like this season? He said 2 rings. Big 12 title, national championship. So the expectations are the exact same. That sets a higher bar that leaves less for surprise. For the 2025-2026 season, the expectations will be just as high, given the program's tradition, which we talked about. But there is so much upside with this team, we just don't know. So I am going to wrap up this video. Truly, really wanted to provide this video to you. I'm not saying that the 2021-2022 season is the 2025-2026 or vice versa. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just telling you, in my opinion, what the bar is for this team and how, in order to win a national championship in college basketball, the type of team you have to have not only on the court, but you have to have it here and mentally, and you have to have it here with heart. And that's something that team had. And it was so noticeable when they took the court. It was so noticeable. I appreciate you all checking out this video. I'm so excited for college basketball, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't tell, I'm so excited. I will be doing a video on Bill Self here shortly. I'm excited to really talk about Bill Self and his history, since we do not know when his end will come coaching this Kansas basketball team. I'm excited to talk about it. I'm excited for this season. Make sure you guys smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and as always, have a good day.